Hello everyone, and welcome to my video on how to make freestanding lace with SewArt and SewArt Pro. We're going to begin by going to the picture that you might have saved on your desktop or somewhere in your documents or pictures. I saved one here on my desktop called Flower Silhouette. So we're going to go ahead and go to that first. Okay. As soon as it opens, you'll find it's pretty standard. However, it will make a really good freestanding lace embroidery because of the tight lines, and also this could be a fill as well. Also, when using freestanding lace, or making freestanding lace rather, it's best to use the same color with your top thread as you do with your bobbin thread. And that's in the event you want to use the freestanding lace as an ornament on a Christmas tree, or to apply to a gift for someone, or to add to a greeting card. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to right click on here and copy this, and we will then go to SewArt. All right, and then we are going to go to edit and paste. The first thing I like to do is to make sure that the image is the size that I want, and in this case it's 3.11 inches, and that's about right. This one I'll be making as an ornament for Christmas, so we're going to go ahead and keep that as that size. If you wanted to change it, perhaps you would go into there and change it accordingly. Okay. All right. The first thing that I do also too is to make sure it's cropped as best as possible, and in this case this picture is actually cropped quite well. Alright guys, so let's see, the next we'll go up here where it says merge colors and click it. What I like to do is to go with the default merge range, so I'm going to click here on merge range. And it's set at all colors will be merged with the following value, and that's 0.50. So when it's two colors like this, it's good to go with that. Now if you had a whole bunch of different colors, you may need to raise that amount. Okay, so you see it broke it down quite a bit, but there's still some room to go. So as a rule of thumb, what I like to do in merging colors is I like to start with the image color first, and I'll find the highest percent. And in this case, it looks like it's 17.08. Now click that one first, and then I will hold down the control key and go to the next highest, which I'm just scanning real quick. It seems to be this one here. Actually, it was this one, but that's okay. And click merge. Okay, so this one is still the highest, and it should be this one right here. Hold down your control key and hit the next one and hit merge. Let's see here, and the next highest one would be here. All right. And I'll just keep doing that until all of my flower colors have been merged. If this is a boring part of the video, you can certainly fast forward to the next part. Ooh, there went the keyboard. You might want to use this time to practice. I actually clicked out of that. Let's see. Getting down to the end of the reds. Let's see. It's a tedious process, but if you really want it to look right and get the best picture option from it, it's best to do this manually this way. You achieve much better results. Now if you click on, I know that this one and this one would be next, but if you click on this one, you notice there's really nothing in the picture. Even if you kind of zoom in, you can't see too much. Most of the time when you hit the speckle, it will go away. If not, you can keep clicking on it until it doesn't go down anymore. And then you figure that at that point, well, I kind of see a little bit of blue here, but we'll get rid of that in just a second. So you can see it's really starting to come together. We have a few gaps, and these gaps here correspond to one of these colors here, and we can kind of see, let's see if we can find them here. It's a little hard. Maybe I don't have it zoomed in just quite a bit enough. Okay, when you click on this one, you can clearly see the pattern is going with that, so you know that that's one of them too. So we'll just keep going until we get it to where we want it to be. And then it's slowly closing the gap. Let's try to despeckle this again. No, it doesn't want. Okay. We'll get to that one in just a second. Ah, here we go. It's getting there. Okay, so we're left with two colors, and we still see some gaps, but that's not a problem. Let me put this down, and I'll show you how to get rid of that. Okay, so we're going to click OK. All right, and then we'll go ahead and click Fill Region up here at the top. And I like to pick another color other than the one that's in here. If you wanted to click this color, you would have to come here to the side and click the little dipper tool. Let's see if you can see it. Okay, this little dipper tool here. Once you click it, you would come and click inside here, and it would pick up the color that you see on the screen. But I don't want to do that today. I feel more comfortable clicking one of SewArt's colors down here at the bottom, and I'll click red. So as soon as you click that, you start clicking on your flower, and you'll notice it's tidying up quite a bit. Let's see, this one's a little stubborn. Ah, there we go. You know, and this is just trying to get every little, oh, you see now it filled up that. So all you have to do is come up here and hit undo. Let's see if we can get them all. And if you can get the bulk of them, it should be okay. Often if it's something that's really intricate, I'll come back with the pencil tool like this. I'll click pencil up here. And at this point, I would click the little dropper and come get my new color. Okay, and it turns into a pencil. And in this case, you can clean up some of your edges. You know, go over some things that just wouldn't feel. See, this line is a little crooked here. You can kind of go here and make some cleaner lines if you wanted to. It takes some time, but with a little effort, it can be done. Okay, so we're just going to keep it as is for the video purposes, and we're going to click OK. All right. And here's the freestanding lace part. We're going to go ahead and click our stitch, our little sewing machine up here. And the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to click the fill. We want to fill, if I can move this over just a bit, we want to fill the inside first before we do these outer edges in like a satin stitch. Because what's going to happen is the fill stitch, as it stitches first, and the satin stitch, as it comes behind it, the satin stitch will grab onto that open-ended stitch, which makes it appear to be lace. Now, if you were just to fill this with a default stitch, you'll see right here, the stitches are very, very tight and close together, and that's not really considered freestanding lace. So let me go ahead and get rid of that. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to make sure it's on fill, but you're going to click here where it says 19 default, which is usually what it's set on, and we are going to go to 51 plus. 51 plus, okay? Once you go to 51 plus, we're going to set the separation. I find works really well at 8. Now you can play around with this. I've used anywhere from 8 to 15 on the separation, depending on the design. But for this particular design where there's tight little corners, 8 seems to work the best for me. I'm going to go ahead and leave the length at 20. Angle, you can change it to anywhere you want. I'll leave it at 0. It's just a straight up and down lines intersecting stitch. Okay. So once you do that, you click inside. And you'll notice that it looks like there's only going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, part of one here and part of one here, threads going up and down. But that's not at all what it's going to look like once you have it in SewArt. Okay? You'll see what I mean by that. So I tend to go all the way around. All right. Filling up as I go in between. Careful not to touch the red just yet. Okay, so what we're doing is we're doing the real lace part. Okay, the see-through lace part. Okay, all of these are pretty much filled in, just making sure. Okay, so now we want to do our border stitches, and we're going to click outline border. Okay, we're going to change it from 1 running to 5 satin. Okay, and I am going to, let's see, I'm going to go ahead and leave it at 15, but I'm going to drop my length down to 2. Now if you want a heavier satin, then you would pick that up a bit, anywhere between 15 and 25, or perhaps even 30, but you can play around with it and see what works best for you. Okay, so what I do is, once this is set, I pick a part of the design that has a flat edge. Okay, if you see up here, it has a flat edge, and I'll click that. Okay, and what it's done is it's applied a border all the way around. Okay, now this right here is usually filled. Maybe it's the design I picked. Let me go ahead and clear that and see if maybe I do applique center line. Go down to 2 and see what happens. Okay, that's a good one too. But what happens is it's going to be a tighter stitch on the inside, and it's not going to give you that wide range. So let me clear that. This being the first time I've worked with this design, we're kind of playing around with it to make sure. Let's see. Let's do applique border and see what happens. Remember to drop this down to 2. Okay, this is doing the border too. I tell you what we can do is, okay, delete this. Let's go ahead and fill this first and then come back and do, okay, it's still at 8 and it's still at 20. And then we'll do a satin stitch. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's fill it with the same thing. It's on 51 plus, okay? All right, so this means it's going to take the whole design and even the middle and make it into freestanding lace. But what we'll do after that, if you look over here, you see all the ones in white are here, the points in here, and the one in red, since the red is connecting, is all together. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do outline border again. Okay, and I'm gonna leave it on satin 15 and 2, and then let's click on the same spot. All right, yeah, that looks much better. Okay, because what's going to happen is the satin feel is going to be really what keeps this design together. It'll hold this lightly stitched out feel together. Okay, so I'm going to click OK. Do you want to save embroidery file? Yes. Okay, let's see. Pictures. Let me go to my in the hoop. I'm in a freestanding lace. Okay, and I'm going to call this one flower. Back up. Flower for video. Freestanding lace. Okay, and it's going to save it as a TIFF file, as well as this part right here saves it as an embroidery file. And in my case, I have a Brother embroidery machine, so it's going to save it as a PES. Okay, so I'll click return or enter. Okay, and there it is. Okay, it shows you. Click OK, and it's done. So what we want to do now is we're going to open that up in SewArt and see what that looks like. Okay. All right, here it is. Open. Okay, so let me zoom in to show you what it's looking like. Okay, so here's all of the stitches, loosely filled stitches, to make it look like lace. You can see that especially predominant in the middle. And here's your satin to keep it all together. Okay, now usually what I do is I take my hoop and I put water soluble stabilizer and hoop that, and make sure your bobbin thread is the same color as your top thread, whichever color you want this to be. This will be for Christmas, so I'm going to keep it red, and put it under your machine and stitch it out. Once it's stitched out, I usually take a small bowl of cool water, and I dip it, the design, once it's out of the hoop, I dip the design into the bowl of cool water, and ever so softly kind of pat it down with either a paper towel or hand cloth, and just pat it down real good. Try to get as much of the moisture as you can out. And I usually let mine dry overnight. And then the next morning, what I'll do is I'll take it outside and I'll use Mod Podge spray that you can get at Walmart or Hobby Lobby or any of those places. And what it does is it sets it. It gives it like a sheer film cover and hardens it at the same time, so it's more durable on a tree as an ornament or wherever you need it to be. So this is my video on designing freestanding lace with SewArt. Thank you.